Yes, done. So, one of the fascinating journey of mindfulness by this master. He says that we have to simply understand. Understanding means knowledge, knowledge means awareness, awareness means experience. This master lived in 12th century, a genius and a polymath, and you can say the masters of meditation. There are two realities. One is conditional reality, and other is absolute reality. How to recognize them? You see how the understanding goes. Whatever changes is a conditional reality. Body changes, mind changes, intellect changes. You have lot of thoughts. We become crazy, we become calm, peace. All belongs to the mind. And then there is an absolute reality. Where is that absolute reality? It doesn't change. So what the master is saying, that when I know the absolute reality, I am already in the state of meditation. I know you are changing. It is not absolute reality. I know, I know the absolute reality. What is that absolute reality? Unchanging, all pervading, immanent, and eternal, pure consciousness. So I use different words, but you simply use pure consciousness. So conditional reality is guided, dictated by ego, and ego will make you happy one time. Ego will make you stressed other time. The role of the ego is very clear. It swings in a pendulum. Profit, loss, victory, defeat, pain, pleasure, and a long list. But there are something which the mind does not believe instantly. So the master says we have a metaphor, understand through the metaphor. How to understand through the metaphor? So it gives the metaphor of a pure white cloth, pure consciousness, compared to the pure consciousness. First superimposition is the causal body, that is the innermost self. We will talk about it as we continue, as I follow the teachings of this master. So then the third level is the subtle blueprint, the sketches is made, and the fourth level is the painted canvas. You have all the pictures of the mountains and the rivers and the people, the child and the old age. What should we do? Just now compare this. The entire universe is a painted canvas. Entire universe is a painted canvas. I see the wall, I see you all are living beings. Painted canvas universe. I see the living being, I see the non-living beings, I see. So that is the painted universe. Painted canvas is the universe, but the original is the pure consciousness. So this master helps us how this multiplicity in the universe is present. What do we perceive? We forget the basic, we forget the ultimate cause of the universe, including me, and that is why we enter into the multiplicity and we enter into the conflict and ignorance. One consciousness, one water, different type of the waves is the fourth level. So one wave becomes the tsunami, other wave becomes the typhoon. So always keep in your mind, we have around, I would say something around 300 verses. We are on the sixth verse. And it explains everything about the suffering from this metaphor, the pleasure, peace, happiness, and ultimate the absolute reality. So the pure canvas, now we see the world, painted canvas, the world outside. What happened? The one has become the many. You see, one pure consciousness has become the many as it passes through the second stage, third stage, and the fourth stage. I see the painted canvas. I see the world, the universe of living being, of non-living being, of different species. One becomes many. It is one consciousness, but one become many. And in that many, we have lot of comparisons. Child, old guy, like me, living being, non-living being, high and low, superior and inferior. But one pure consciousness and one has become many. What is this? So this master says, understand, there is one pure consciousness, there is no duality, there is no conflict, and the mind. Simple understanding is required. Pure consciousness and the mind. So let me make it simpler through an example to make us understand. Pure consciousness plus mind. Pure consciousness plus mind, I is created. Pure consciousness, mind, third stage. The moment this I thought is created, I say, here I am, and there you are. Do you see the duality is created? By the mind, not by the pure consciousness. So the two are created. Now I know you. The moment I say I know you, it is the mind. Which mind? Conscious mind. What is conscious mind? Why you say conscious mind? Consciousness plus mind. You see, conscious mind, conscious plus mind, consciousness plus mind. So I recognize only when there is a conscious mind. Remove the mind, what is left? Only the consciousness. So this master says, I have to understand. You have to simply understand. Don't practice. So you see the conscious mind. I thought, oh, now I see a lot of people. One becomes many. Again, I'm repeating. Conscious mind means what? Consciousness plus mind. That is why we say conscious mind. Or we can simply say the mind borrows the consciousness from the pure consciousness, then it perceives the world outside. But before it perceives the world, I thought is created. I will say, I know you, I see you, I talk to you, and then I see the monitor, I see all you, and you see one becomes the many. I believe you are getting it. Pure consciousness plus mind. First, the I thought is created. Can you find where are you? You cannot find, but I thought is created. And then this I thought separates the entire universe. So one becomes the many because of the thought. Remove the thought, maintain that awareness only. Awareness without I thought. See what happens. So when we remove this mind from the perception, take a mathematical equation, consciousness plus mind, I am, and then I know you, then I know the world. Now then I am minus mind, what is left is pure consciousness. I and you are gone. What remains is the pure consciousness, the pure canvas, the very first layer, white cloth. Every day, early in the morning, with a cup of tea, you sit on a lazy chair and contemplate. Just reflect on, think, and you will see I is gone, the world is gone. This is what our masters are saying. Consciousness is one reality behind I, you, me, he, she, living being, inert, high, low, profit, loss, pain, pleasure, because that is the fourth stage. That is the universe. So the master answers why this is happening. Why this is happening. And how this happens. So last time we understood there is a painted canvas in which you are there wearing a different cloth. I am there. I am putting on a different cloth. So we are taking an example of the human beings there. So then there was a question that a painter colored on the real canvas while pointing here you are, or on the visualized canvas. Rakesh is wearing a black t-shirt. So the painter painted the black color. So did he paint the black color on the real canvas or a virtual canvas that he imagined in the mind? And the answer is that he colored on the virtual canvas that he has imagined. Otherwise, there is no need. If we say that he colored in the basic canvas, then he should have colored the entire canvas in a black color. Mind. mind. This mind plus consciousness visualized, here I am, here you are. And one becomes many. It is the mind that makes one too many. Otherwise, there is only one reality. And that reality is consciousness. This is what the Master is saying. Again, reflect on conscious mind. When I say conscious mind, means what? Consciousness plus mind. Then how it perceives? It divides and perceives. Is the consciousness property of the mind? No. Is the consciousness product of the mind? No. Consciousness plus mind. Mind borrows the consciousness from the real self. Then it becomes the conscious mind. Conscious mind says, I am. The moment it says, I am, it separates the entire universe. And then what happens? Then I feel the reality is seen, felt by the mind. So this mind causes the superficial reality that is known as the universe of people, of living beings, of things. One becomes many, and then what happens? We forget the pure consciousness. We forget that one consciousness. Because now the mind is engaged in multiplicity of the universe. And when it forgets, that forgetfulness is known as ignorance, and ignorance causes the suffering. So this master has given this mind a different name. Painted universe, we find the conscious mind at certain place. We don't find the conscious mind at every place. Do you find the conscious mind here? No. I see it. I know this is a mouse. You see, I see the monitor. I see you virtually. So the master says, why the master, conscious mind is not there. So in the universe, in the inert things, in the non-living things, that consciousness is unmanifest. In the plants, it manifests as a sensation. In animals, it manifests as animal mind. But in humans, it manifests as a conscious mind. That conscious mind is a reflected consciousness. One is pure consciousness, canvas. When it moves to the causal plane, the moment it moves at the subtle plane, that becomes the reflected consciousness. And that reflected consciousness presents the universe to us. And in the universe, we say, oh, there is your home, it is my home, you are there, I am here, and multiplicity starts. And we forget that pure consciousness, the basic, the ultimate cause. The way we forget, we are watching the horror movie, we forget the TV screen. Does not change. It remains the same. It does not change. Here, for an example, but the horror movie, it's moving, we forget the TV. we see as if it is a reality. The same way the conscious mind projects that reality which is not real, which is constantly changing. To understand it, to be aware of that, to know that, is to live into the state of meditation and mindfulness. Can I say, the entire universe, the multiplicity of the universe belongs to the reflected consciousness. It belongs to the mind. Mind divides and perceives. Mind cannot help us to perceive without any division. So, what is meditation or mindfulness? Use the same mind to know we are canvas, we are pure consciousness, we are not separate and different from anything. So that is why this master says the canvas remains canvas but appears different, undergoing the three stages. And the mind, consciousness plus mind. So that mind creates the multiplicity of the universe. Consciousness undergoes the four stages of manifestation. Taken the same metaphor again, the white cloth and the apparent cloth. When I want to show in the painting, Stephen, so I have to sketch it. That is the apparent cloth. So there are two cloths, the white cloth, the basic cloth, the real cloth, and then there is a superimposition. Fact is that it is one cloth, it is one canvas, but mind projects. When the mind projects, then you have a mountain with a different color. You have a person with a different color, so the mind projects. Another cloth. Are you getting it? I believe so. Even if not, say yes so that you can listen with a cup of tea sitting on a lazy chair, contemplate and reflection. You'll find the painter. Again, I'm using the word painter, painted, paints the Himalayas, river, trees. So why we are using the metaphor? They paint the Himalayas and rivers and inner things without cloth. So here to use that, the human beings are painted there with a cloth. So that virtual cloth is created in the mind. That is what the sketching is. Oh, here I will draw. I sketched Stephen, I sketched Webber. So that is where the problem starts. My mind imagines the different people. That is the reflected consciousness. And that reflected consciousness hides the pure consciousness. That is why we talk about the purity of the mind. Is there a virtual cloth? There is no virtual cloth. So what this master is saying, a non-seeker is not able to differentiate, separate the pure canvas from the virtual canvas. A seeker is able to separate it. The moment you separate, you are in mindfulness. You recognize. The moment I say that you are there and I am here, in my mind, I separate. It is for the matter of convenience. In the transactional reality, I say you are there and I am here, but internally, I am aware only one. Pure consciousness is white canvas. What is reflected canvas or consciousness? That is marked, it is the mind. Mind borrows the consciousness from the pure consciousness, first claims I am. So when I claim I am, then I also claim you are. If I am is not there, you are not there. I am is a product of the mind. So you are also the product of the mind. I forget that pure canvas or pure consciousness. I fall into ignorance. It only demands an understanding. It doesn't demand any kind of practice. Mind borrows the consciousness, then it created I thought, then it created a false sense of I am with reference to the body. Then I see your body and I say, here is David, here is Jerry, Stephen, Sam. It is reflected consciousness. So I separate myself from you all. So one becomes the many. Fact is that one is not many. One remains the same. So this conscious mind appears similar to the pure consciousness. So when we separate this reflected consciousness, we simply know that, oh, this is reflected consciousness. That is all. The moment you know it is a reflected consciousness which created the duality, the multiplicity, I land up in the pure consciousness. How it happens. The famous word that you might have heard many a times, the discernment, we separate. Discernment, viveka, separate. You do not separate it physically. Your picture is painted in the painted canvas. You cannot separate it. You separate mentally. You cannot separate the horror film from the TV. You separate it mentally. So through that power of the discernment, the moment you separate, you are there in the state of meditation. Last point is very important. Reflected reflected consciousness declares I am in stress. Fact is that you are not. But you claim it, so you are. Pain, pleasure, profit, loss, any differentiation, if I use the same metaphor, any differentiation, any experience is created on a virtual canvas that does not exist. It does not exist. Now I have a lot of stress. It does not exist. But because my conscious mind believes it exists, so it believes. I have a lot of stress. So you don't say, I have a lot of stress, and you start laughing. Conscious mind creates those patterns in our mind. Reflected consciousness creates those patterns. You can't say that I'm very happy and you are frowning. You have a very sad face. So the reflected consciousness follows that pattern, creates multiple movements. It forgets the pure consciousness. That's why we lose. This is as we go and study and reflect on this entire journey, each and every verse, he explains the entire human growth and the evolution. And as we go on understanding, we find even the awakening is it's not a special thing to do. You are already there. You are into that state. It cannot be produced or created. That pure canvas is already there. So close your eyes. You see, everything is done by the conscious mind. Eyes are closed. So you see that the mind brings the difference. Oh, I should close my eyes and others should close their eyes. And at the same time, we are 100% sure. You see, the mind lives with that duality, differentiation, multiplicity. It doesn't leave it. That is why in one tradition we say purify the mind. In other tradition we say transcend the mind. Both are the same. One demands a lot of practices, other demands an understanding. Just become aware of the multiplicity in the mind. You are sitting, one. The sitting is different from the standing, so the mind causes this duality. Eyes are closed a moment before, the eyes are open. You see how the mind is working. Pure consciousness doesn't work this way. Reflected consciousness works this way. Okay. And then I'm sitting. Where I'm sitting, the mind brings in that information also. Mind without dividing the mind cannot get the knowledge. You are listening. I'm speaking. There is another division. So when the mind keeps on its presence on the fourth stage of the universe, the painted universe, that is the meaning of the wandering mind. Unless it understands, it becomes aware that everything is happening, this multiplicity, this duality, this pain and the pleasure, everything is happening on the surface, on the virtual canvas that is the mind, not on the pure consciousness that is the real self. I'm using the same metaphor. We are in an on practice. Awareness is there, knowledge is there, and experience is there. Being comfortable. So you see, the mind divides being comfortable from being unease, discomfort. Without division, this mind cannot function. You just maintain awareness of that and then see what happens. Why we want to be aware of this nature of the mind, so that we can separate the virtual canvas from the real one. That is the moment of discernment. That is, and this, the moment you have a discernment, distraction is there. You're watching a horror movie and you say, oh, let me become aware of the TV screen. So now you know which one is real. Horror film is going on. It will continue. You are watching. But now you are aware of the TV screen where nothing is happening. And that is the pure consciousness. And it is here and now. It cannot be produced or created. It is always there. You know? So I'm passing on these contemplative thoughts to you so you know, oh, this is what the separation is. So being comfortable, go ahead with the, so you are looking at the neck joint. Again, we divide it. The moment we divide and perceive, the reflected consciousness is at work. The moment it divides, whether in pleasure, whether in comfort, the mind maintains its existence. And as long as the mind maintains its existence, we are in ignorance. So the word is used, transcend the mind. Where is transcending the mind? One example I gave you. You are aware of the TV screen where nothing is happening and the film is going on. You separate it. From that point of view, from that understanding, you're looking at the neck joint. So there is an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Okay, whereas after that, there is a space. Whereas that space is awareness, and awareness is the space. Just check it. You need not to believe. You are aware of the space because of awareness. We are already there. But the mind says, no, I still feel uncomfort at the shoulder joints, subconsciously or habitually, or it picks up a thought. Oh, it picked up a thought. So it has already divided, because without dividing, it cannot perceive. Perceive means the knowledge. Mind gets the knowledge by dividing. Okay. Hmm. So what happens, for example, you look at the shoulder joints, and then the mind says, what is next? Give me something good. So that is the part of the practice. So we say, okay, experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And we stop there. But in our journey here, we do not stop. What is after that? There is a space. For the sake of understanding, and that space is nothing but awareness. I'm using the word space for awareness. Because if you're not aware, you don't see the space. But then the mind jumps again. It says, what about my knees? Okay? Still, look at the knees, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You are separating. Oh, okay, that experience is a part of the movie. But beyond that, there is only a space and awareness. We need not to do anything. Keep that metaphor in the mind. Your mind is jumping here and there on many thoughts, universe. It starts thinking in a direction that creates another universe from outside. It is the second stage of the subtle mind. Thoughts are coming. It is because consciousness plus mind. The thoughts are coming. How do you know that? Now I know. Okay, I know. Consciousness plus mind. Reflected consciousness that says I know. It is separated from the thoughts, the influx of the thoughts and feeling and images. It is, for the sake of explaining, we can say it is an extraordinary awareness. We can give any name. Another thought comes, consciousness plus mind. Do you recognize? Are you aware of that? I recognize the thoughts are coming or going only because you know what I want to say. So I forgot to discern. What to discern? I recognize the thoughts are coming. So there are two parts, I am and the thoughts created by the mind. Behind that, it is only one consciousness. See that? You discern mentally. We cannot do it physically. The way you are driving, you see. If you say that seeing is believing, while driving, you see the trees and the road is moving behind you, running behind you. You see it actually. Why you're not scared? You discern. I'm just telling you, giving an example. You discern mentally, you don't remove it physically. It just came to my mind. When you discern, you are already there. Viveka means to separate, where to separate in the mind itself. For the sake of clarity, the moment your mind says I am, and this I am says I know you, and the world is created. Okay, the moment it says I am, look at the I am. And this I am has two parts. One I am is the conscious mind, reflected consciousness. Another I am is the pure consciousness. Another way to put it. How do you say I'm a husband or I'm a wife? Because internally, behind, you recognize you're a man or a woman. Then you're a husband or I'm a father or a mother, whatever it is. So one I am that divides and perceives, and other I am is simply present. That is simply present is the pure consciousness that divides and perceives. Let it, it cannot go. You cannot get rid of the mind. Where there is the real self, there will be the mind. You cannot get rid of the movie from the TV. You recognize, you know. One day, this contemplation and reflection becomes natural. Why it is unnatural? Let us see it again. Mind has a thought. Every thought has an object. So the mind gets carried away by the thought and the object, and it is absorbed into the universe, the painted canvas. You look back, I am. Don't crush when the mind says I am. It's okay. One I am is a movie and other I am is a screen. That is why it is a conscious mind. Consciousness plus mind, mind with the painted universe, consciousness, white canvas. The very beginning, I started the talk with the conditional reality and absolute reality. Conditional reality changes. That's another way to discern. Thought was not there. Now the thought has come. It means the thought keeps on changing. But behind that, perhaps I made it simple. Consciousness plus mind. Another simple way, I am. This I am will never go. And it should not. So our mind says, I am, I have created. That is ego. And the same I am word behind the mind. That is pure consciousness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, we'll share our experiences. Just to inform you, Terry has undergone a surgery. She is doing good. I got a message from her. So bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. This was a very interesting meditation day. Um, I was very focused. I'm listening to everything that you were saying, and my experience was quite reflective. Just reflecting. First, I'll say that I'm very aware of trying to live wisely every
Good.
minute of every day. And in order for me to do that, I've become very reflective throughout my days, and instantly recognizing the things that set me off, or take me off my line, or prevent me from living wisely. So that goes on a daily basis. So today, you kind of made me go back and start thinking about all those reflective moments of this um, this reflective consciousness, this how am I reading things, and what sets me off, and this is what was going on, and then I started thinking about this and saying, okay, I get the idea of the separation of the two consciousness and whatnot, but when you ask us how our experiences are, and we talk about that we're in peace and we have that moments of happiness and we have this thing, does that now become reflective consciousness?
Yeah,
I,
obviously, it is the conscious mind which is reflecting our experiences. We cannot, that pure consciousness doesn't speak. It does not need to speak. It is of
it's
the nature of happiness and peace and love and wisdom, so it doesn't need anything. So when we
I,
check our experiences, it is the same conscious mind.
but when we experience that, but once we actually start describing it, it becomes reflective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that's what was going on in my head. So
That's
I
good.
felt like I'm going around on this gerbil wheel,
Yeah,
and and then the realization, which to me was the moment for me in this today's meditation, was um, a complete separation of mind and body,
beautiful.
because I after this whole spinning gerbil wheel was taking place, I was exhausted. And I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I need to check in on everything else. And I checked my body, and it was still, it was quiet, it was in a euphoric state. And I said, all right, I'm hanging out there. Forget the mind. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a beautiful narration of your experiences, and it has brought a step further. And I'm repeating it. The conscious mind will share the experience, because the pure consciousness or the real self has nothing to do with sharing your experiences. It's already in peace. It's of the nature of happiness. It's the nature of love. So, what the conscious mind has experienced, the moments in the state of meditation, let it share. That's wonderful. How do you, David and Jerry?
Namaste. Thank you. Great practice today. I thoroughly enjoyed the preamble, and for me, it was a line. I was going from consciousness minus mind to consciousness plus mind, and by the end of it, I was focused on consciousness, love less or minus mind, and it was just a great state when I was there.
Yeah, it's a yeah. Yeah, that's another way to put it. It's a beautiful understanding. Consciousness, less mind, consciousness, full mind, if I say so. I'm using your explanation in a different. So, consciousness, full mind. This mind will always see the entire universe with the duality and a conflict, and will take on everything. I have a lot of stress, I have a lot of problem, I have a lot of pleasure, I have a lot of money, I don't have it. But you separate it, consciousness, less mind. You are already free. You are already there. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. Namaste. For me, it was also reflective. I had reached out to Sam after Thursday's meditation and said it was nice to see you on meditation. And then your talk was kind of like, well, I don't really see Sam, right? Literally Sam. I see the reflection of his consciousness, but I see Adam, Vivek, and Rakesh, and David, and Anastasia, and everybody else, but I don't see the pure consciousness, which is always there.
Which is always there. Beautiful.
There.
Can I live into that state all the time? Beautiful. That's another way to put it. That's really beautiful. How are you, Samir? We have a lot of, clouds and, yeah,
Sir, I was lying down.
lying down.
I was on Saturdays. I usually lie down. I don't sit. I sit on Thursdays and Monday, and
Okay.
lying down and just listening to you, and slowly, everything means the only your talk was there and nothing else was there. No thought, nothing, just
Yeah.
everything piercing into my mind, and that's it. And I was just listening, and it was a feeling of happiness at the end of meditation. I was feeling means joyful that I'm listening so consciously. Means I'm
Yeah.
not able to explain what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Listening
But
so with so concentration, I'm listening to you. Means I was very happy at the end of the. There was means lot of joy in my heart as such.
beautiful. I used to listen almost, it took me a couple of years. I used to listen with apt attention to my master. My master used to say, "Don't you see I am present in all of you? You see this body is speaking, but I am present in all of you." Hundreds of people used to listen to him, and including you, who is a listener, because pure consciousness is independent. And the reflective consciousness creates a barrier: I, you, he, she, it. So, listening and learning, that is why we say that listening and learning is one of the most important aspects in this journey. So, how are you, Sam? Were you listening to me? No, I'm just joking. No. How are you, Anastasia, in the meantime? Yes,
Thank you.
yes, Sam.
Sorry, lost connection. I noticed I was in a state of pure blankness
That's good.
during the meditation and listening intently. But I felt a blankness, body stillness, and it was very pleasant.
Very pleasant, very good. You see, normally what happens, the people, especially, because the masters wait for the people who have become the seekers to explain and to talk about these texts. Otherwise, these texts remain hidden from the majority of the people. It just came to my mind. So it's gradually. So that peace, that sense of the quietness indicates that the mind has gone inside. How are you, Rakesh? After that, I'll come to it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I was focusing on what you were saying to listen on all the words. The mind was going here and there in between, but most of the time I was listening to you, and I was trying to understand how the mind is reflecting various things, and if that reflection is gone, then how it is, if everything becomes one. All those kind of things are going on, and suddenly at the end of the meditation, uh, everything gone and just a space left.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's all.
Yeah, that's good. So gradually what will happen that those distractions and the wandering mind will stop. Why it will stop? Because I have the higher level of discernment. Does the mind goes into anxiety when you're driving a car and watching the highways running behind you? Do you ever get scared? Mind is running. Mind is wandering. That running mind is, I perceive the road is running behind me. See, that is the beauty of this journey. Are you, Anastasia?
Thank you. I'm very calm. It was like being in an empty room, darkness. I just heard your voice very carefully, and my mind also sometimes showed me some people who I don't know. For example, today I saw a stranger, a mature man, playing with his dog. And it's strange because I can understand when my mind shows me people who I know or who I'm attached to, but
Yeah.
it's like completely, I don't know these people or this dog. Yeah.
Millions of these impressions will appear and disappear. It has more to do with the causal level of our existence, who has accumulated millions and millions of impressions. They will come, they will go. So let them come, let them go. Don't try to recognize them. Our goal is to recognize who we are. Come on. How are you? Whoever.
Sir, I'm good. It was very peaceful. It's like that there is one living and there is knowing. My living is independent of the knowing what I'm knowing. Knowing is
Yeah.
keep on changing, but behind that, the living is always there. It is continuous, and if I be aware with that the knowing is different, then I can be separate myself and be calm, be relaxed.
Vaibhav, it's a beautiful simile. You see that? There is one is thinking, other is feeling, and the third is being. That being is knowing. That being and the knowing never ends. Thinking and feeling belongs to the mind. One master, there is another text where he says, being and becoming. Becoming is always mind. Being is always pure consciousness. And that being will never leave us. Becoming goes. Becoming goes into sleep, so it becomes a sleeper, then it becomes a waker, then it becomes a dreamer, then it becomes stress, then it becomes pleasant, but the being remains there. Yes, it's another reflection in another direction. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you.
Namaste.
Sam, if you find time, call Terry.
Who?
Terry.